and sister. I'm happy to be here and that we are able to do live streaming with you today and that we have the opportunity to present health. Normally this day was actually for the health day, but because of the crisis that we are in, we are still able to promote it in this such way. So before we start, we have a song that we always love to sing when it comes to health, which is the New Start. And my little ones is going to help me, and we're going to teach you the songs. Probably you know it, but it's always a delight to start with this song so that you get a happy mood when it comes to health. So let's do and try the song. Okay. Nutrition, exercise, water, sunshine, temperate, air and rest, trust in God. Nutrition, exercise, water, sunshine, temperate, air and rest, trust in God, trust in God. Thank you very much. Can I have a seat? So the title of my presentation is God's Way of Healing. The first and greatest blessing that God bestows upon a person is life. This is the basis of all other blessings. Without it, no other blessing could be enjoyed. Hence, the loss of life is the greatest punishment that can be inflicted upon man. All that man hath will he give for his life. When life is at stake, everything sinks into significance in comparison. Next to life, the greatest physical blessing a man can enjoy is good health. Without health, even life itself becomes useless, and sometimes even worse than useless. It becomes a burden and a curse. There are those all through the land who could agree to this. A man may have talents, wealth, friends, and everything that is desirable to make him happy and useful, yet if he deprived of health, all these are of no value to him. He would give them all for sound health. Its price cannot be told. Money cannot buy it. Houses and lands cannot purchase it. Our simple greetings show how many important we regard it. When we meet a friend, the first sentence we normally ask is, "How are you?" We regard this as the most important question we can ask. Everything depends upon it. God, in His holy word, has attached the same importance to good health that we do. It is God's wish that we are happy, and we have no right to bring a moment unhappiness on ourselves by transgression, against or by neglect of His law that preserve our health. We have work to do for one another. We are not free to disqualify ourselves or in any degree to cut short our power of usefulness by interfering with our own health. The loss of health often makes one person a source of expense and trouble and grief to many. Each person will have to answer at the judgment day of God for the far-reaching result of the neglect of his health. Health and disease. So what is health? Health is a natural, normal state. A disease condition develops when we fail to maintain health. It is the absence of health. Disease is not always some entity which drives out and overcomes health. The true science of conquering disease is to do so by restoring the health rather than to expect to restore the health by conquering disease. Health is maintained by forces which are always persistently at work, which we need to have all hindrances to their work removed and all possible assistance given. Possibly, too much attention has been given to study of disease, and not enough to the study of health. It is certain that the study of sick, diseased bodies is much more common than the study of sound, healthy ones. To propose revising this may seem to be like asking someone to stand on his head to get the right point of view. And yet, that change in look is the very thing that is needed. Drugs and medicine do not cure disease. It is true that they sometimes offer relief for a while, and the patient appears to recover as a result of their use. But the reason for this is that nature has enough vital forces to get rid of the drug and to correct the bad condition that caused the disease. Health is recovered in spite of the drug. But in most cases, the drug only changes the form and location of the disease. Often, the effect of the drug seems to be overcome for a time, but the results remain in the system and can work harm later on. Every dose of drugs lowers the vitality of the patient. Always remember that God's restorative power is in nature, not in drugs. E.G. White defined disease as follows. Let physicians teach the people that restorative power is not in drugs, but in nature. Disease is an effort of nature to free the system from condition that results from a violation of the laws of health. In case of sickness, the cause should be ascertained. Unhealthy conditions should be changed, wrong habits corrected. Then nature is to be assisted in her effort to expel impurities and to reestablish right condition in the system. Ministry of Healing 127:1. Natural remedies help nature out. They work along with her effort to set things back in order in the body temple. The Bible teaches that health does not depend on chance. Health is the result of the obedience of God's law. If thou wilt diligently hearken to the voice of the Lord thy God, and will do that which is right in his sight, and will give ear to his commandments, and keep all his statutes, I will put none of the diseases upon thee, which I have brought upon the Egyptians, for I am the Lord that healeth thee. Exodus 15:26. So what do you think would happen when a person breaks one of the health laws? It results in one of the organs of the body not being able to do its proper share of the work. Well, in that case, some other organ takes on extra work. The extra work organs must do to make up for the others that are not functioning properly is a strain on them. Usually, all the energy of each organ is used for the purpose of keeping the body in a normal state. In a normal condition, there is a harmonious action of all the organs of the body and mind that results in a pleasant feeling or energy. The body can then successfully resist getting sick. Jesus is the great healer. Through obedience to all his laws, we cooperate with him not only to preserve health, but also to recover from disease. So if we look at God's diet today, what is his diet? As in the human race, disease in animals is increasing. Contaminated meat, dairy products, and eggs are common source of food-related illness. Let's look what E.G. White says in Counsels on Diet, page 411. Disease in cattle is making meat eating a dangerous matter. The Lord's curse is upon the earth, upon man, upon the beast, upon the fish in the sea, and as transgression becomes almost universal, the curse will be permitted to become as broad and as deep as a transgression. Disease is contracted by the use of meat. In a short time, it will not be safe to use anything that comes from the animal creation. As you continue on Counsels on Diet, page 380, again and again I have shown that God is trying to lead us back, step by step, to his original design, that man should subsist upon the natural products of the earth. Among those who are waiting for the coming of the Lord, meat eating will eventually be done away. Flesh will cease to form a part of their diet. We should ever keep this end in view and endeavor to work steadily toward it. So let's look at the definition of food. What is food and what does it do to our body? A food may be defined as any substance which, when absorbed into the blood, will nourish the tissues, repair waste, and furnish forces and heat the body without causing injury to any parts. In order to have good health, we must have good blood. For the blood is the current of life. It repairs waste and nourishes the body. When supplied with the proper food elements, and it carries life and vigor to every part of the system. It is a wonderful process that transforms food into blood and uses this blood to build up the fired parts of the body. This process is going on continually, supplying with life and strength each nerve, muscles, and tissues. So E.G. White said in Counsels on Diet and Food, page 313, these are the food that fight disease, which is grains, fruits, nuts, vegetables, constitute the diet chosen for us by our Creator. These foods prepared in a simple and natural manner as possible are the most helpful and nourishing. Our bodies are made up of the food we eat. Those foods should be chosen that best supply the elements needed for building up the body. So what have health to do with character? So let's see what is this link together. Since the mind and the soul find expression through the body, both mental and spiritual vigor are in great degree dependent on physical strength and activity. Whatever promotes physical health promotes the development of a strong mind and a well-balanced character. Without health, no one can as distinctly understand or as completely fulfill his obligation to himself, to his fellow beings, or to his creators. Therefore, the health should be as faithfully guarded as the character. The following statement clarifies the connection between bodily health and character building. The body is the only medium through which the mind and soul are developed for the upbuilding of character. Ministry of Healing, page 130. The better you observe the laws of health, the more clearly can you discern temptation and resist them. And the more clearly can you discern the value of eternal things. Our first duty, one which we owe to God, to ourselves, and to our fellow men, is to obey the laws of God, which includes the laws of health. God wants to restore us. God's word teaches that physical healing and spiritual restoration are joined together in his service. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits, who forgiveth all thine iniquities, who healeth all thy disease, who redeemeth thy life from destruction, who crowned thee with loving kindness and tender mercy. Psalms 103, 2 and 4. Through the agencies of nature, God is working. Day by day, hour by hour, moment by moment, to keep us alive, to build up and restore us. When any part of the body sustains injury, a healing process is at once begun. Nature agency is set at work to restore soundness, but the power working through this agency is the power of God. When one recovers from disease, it is God who restores him. Christ, the great medical missionary, is our example. In Matthew 4:23, we can read that Jesus went about all Galilee, teaching in their synagogues and preaching the gospel of the kingdom, and healing all manners of sickness and all manners of disease among the people. Our bodies is Christ's purchased possession. We are not at liberty to do with them as we please. When men and women are truly converted, they will continuously regard the laws of life that God has established in their being, thus seeking to avoid physical, mental, and moral feebleness. So these are the reading that we can understand how our body works, what health has to do with our character, what health has to do with restoring. God wants us to restore back from where we came from. And He has been giving us counsels on how to keep our body in a healthy way. There are a lot of natural remedies that He has been giving to us in His counsels that we can be able to do. So today we are showing you some demonstration on how to maintain your body when you are not feeling well. And actually all these remedies you can find right in the kitchens or in your home. Sometimes you even have them without even knowing that you have them. So I will show you some illustration or demonstration. They are all done preparing here, so we're not cutting anything. I'm just going to demonstrate you what I do when my family gets sick or my children get sick. I will start with the immune booster. That's what I call them. I have grapes, I have orange, and I have lemon, onions, and garlic. When it said cloves and bulk, it's different. When it's written bulk, it means the whole garlic. When it said cloves, it means just cloves. So there is something that you have to look at. And peppermint. This is the immune booster, or you can also use fresh mint leaves. This mint, I actually dry it in the sun, and I just grate it with my hands, and that's how it becomes like this. So then you can put it in a tea sack, and then you can use it yourself. But with this immune booster, you put all of this in a blender, and you blend them. And if you don't like the pulp, you can also use the strainer when you throw the juice. Or if you don't have a blender and you have a cold press juicer, you can also cold press all of these fruits, and then when you finish, you add the essential oil, peppermint, and it's about 3 drops, and then you drink it throughout the day. And this is for the immune booster when you're not feeling well and you kind of feeling like your throat is hurting you, or you're not feeling really yourself. You can use this to boost up your immune system. So this is the first immune booster that you can use as a juice. The other one, I call it flu bomb, and that is 1 cloves of garlic. So this is a garlic, 1 cloves of garlic. I have here cayenne pepper. This is a medicinal cayenne pepper. It is not just the pepper that we buy from the shop, because those are not that hot. It is really very hot. So if you just put a sprinkle, especially when you're making for children the flu bomb, you just put a sprinkle. But if you make it for yourself, you can put 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. So this is a medicinal cayenne pepper. And then I have garlic here. So you cut the garlic in pieces. Sorry, it's ginger. Ginger. You cut it in pieces. And you need about 1/4 teaspoon of ginger. And you also need the lemon of a juice. And of course, you need the honey. And with this recipe, you need eucalyptus oil or tea tree oil. We know that tea tree oil is very good for anti-viral. Eucalyptus oils also is very good for when you're coughing, and for bronchitis, for asthma. Because these are the type of essential oil that you can use when you're making this recipe. And then after, what you do with this is you blend them. And then you add about 1/3 cup of water to make this juice. When you give it to the children, you have to taste it first, because it can be strong and they will not drink it anymore. So try it, drink it first, and then after you give it to the children. So this is very child-friendly flu shot. And also, when you're not feeling well, there's also the other way that it calls antibiotics. Antibiotics is the natural antibiotics first that you can get is garlic. Garlic is very healthy. It's one of the medicinal in the kitchen that you can find. You have it always using it. You're cooking with it, so it's right there. So if you need natural antibiotics, 4 cloves a day for 3 days. You drink this 4 cloves a day for 3 days. And if you cannot tolerate garlic, because some people get belly pain or get bloated from garlic, what you can do is you can take a cup of water, and you can add the 4 cloves that you need a day in a water and soak it overnight. And in the morning, you drink the water. So that's what you do for 3 days to get the natural antibiotics. The other natural remedy, what I do, my daughter, when we were in St. Martha, when she was about 3 years old, no. 4 years old, she just corrected me. 4 years old, she suddenly had a problem with breathing, and we didn't know exactly what it was, because it was uncommon for her. And suddenly, like 2 days after, she had a lot of pain in her chest, and we didn't really understand what was going on. And after, it was Friday evening, she started to get short breath. And she was breathing and breathing, very strange, which I never saw before. And eventually, we went to the ER, and then they said that she had shortness of breath, and that she had bronchitis asthma. So we were very surprised as parents, because she never had asthma before, and she never had this problem before. And so eventually, she was admitted in the hospital, and I just got my smallest daughter. So eventually, my husband stayed there, and I went home, and she was admitted at the hospital for that weekend. So I was home, I had the Natural Remedies encyclopedia, and I studied like I had my exam, because I want my daughter to go home. So I went on looking for asthma, natural remedy for asthma. What can I do to help or boost her immune system? Because she was getting medicine, which she was not getting before. And you could see out herself that she was a different person, because she was getting something that her body was not accustomed to. So after this, we learned a lot of things when it comes to respiratory problems. And especially now in this period of time, we had a virus that is all over us, and we know that this virus have to do with respiratory. So what happened with our lungs, and what does it do? What happens with your lungs is when you get the cold, or when you get the respiratory illness, your lungs actually get the mucus. So what happens with the mucus, it is your lungs, and it stays there in the middle, which eventually you cannot take any air. So eventually, if you don't get any air, the mucus will stick there, and you cannot breathe, and that's why you will get the shortness of breath, and eventually you cannot breathe anymore, and you will have no breath. So what happens is when you do the natural remedy, which I'm gonna show you now, it helps you to open up your lungs, because your lungs is actually tightening up together. and that's the reason that you cannot breathe, and the mucus is there. So what happened with these natural remedies that I'm going to show you now, it loosening up the lungs, and the mucus will be softened, and you are able to cough. Everything that is there, it will come out. So I will ask my daughter to come up so that I can show you this natural remedies. So for these remedies, what we usually do with her when she gets a cough is the onions poultice. And the onions poultice draws out congestion, whatever she has in her chest. So I have here a paper kitchen. I have here the onions. So you slice it up. You see, you slice it up like this. So I have here for her front chest. So I have two. This is what I normally do. So I divided them. And what I usually do with her is when she's sick, of course, she's very weak. She normally lie down on the bed. And here in her front chest, in her back, I always listen with my ear. And then I can hear that she have wheezing. You hear it like that constantly in her back. So what I do is I put this. Normally you would do this, but because she have her closed and I don't want her to smell like onions, I'm gonna close it. So what I do is I do with this paper, and I use this bandage. So she have this at her back and at her front, both of the onions. And I wrap this thing around her. Lift up your arms here. Okay. And she's lying down actually on the bed. And then I pin it like this, and it stay there throughout the whole night. And when she get this, she also get these cut up onions that I have, and I put them in a plastic sack. Let me see if I have, let me get quick. So this stay for her through the whole night. And then these cut up onions that I cut, I normally put them in a sack, like this. And her foot goes with it, and I wrap it like this, and it stays as well through the whole night. So this is what I do with her. I call this onions wrap. I call this onions poultice, and it helps her. Whatever toxic she has, it will draw out, and it will help her to feel better. So this is the other way that I do with her when she have her bronchitis asthma. And the next remedy that I do is the hot and cold fermentation. And so whatever I needed water, or I needed the hot and cold therapy, I need looking constantly at it. And I was like, hey, that's something that probably I can use for her when she get her, her attack, because I see water coming out. They call it sauna steamer. But it helps me to think in other ways that I can use this for her when she get the attack. So with this, what I normally do, so this is 3-in-1. So this is what I use also as a steamer. What I normally do is you need, for this hydrotherapy, is the hot and cold, which is 3 minutes warm and 30 seconds cold. And you always start with warm water and you end up with cold water. So with this, you don't actually need hot water anymore, because you can put the towel here inside and it will warm up, and you close it up and it will warm up. And with this, you use it as your cold water, and you just use the towel here. So when it is warm, you can take it out with your salad kitchen things, because it is warm, so be cautious. So when you take it out, what I do is I always ask her if it is warm, because your skin and somebody else's skin is not the same when you touch something that is warm. So I always ask her if it's warm or not. And what I do with this is I put it in her neck, and I wrap it around with towel, and then I wait for 3 minutes. And then when 3 minutes is over, I put the cold water very quick to her, very quick to her, and I wrap it her around like this. And I know for some children it's kind of difficult, but once your child is accustomed to this, or an adult, it will be easier for you to do this. But what happens when you do hot and cold is the blood circulation. It helps you to circulate the flowing of the blood through your body. And for adults, what I would recommend is also a towel in the freezer, and you can put it on your neck and wrap it wrap it around with towel, and you can leave it through the whole night. So that's what you can do for that as well, for when you have the cold. And so this is what we also do for her neck, but also for her chest and for her back. Also the hot and cold hydrotherapy, that's what also we do with her. And you can also actually do the hot and cold shower, which some people don't like to do, but when I was sick, that is really something that helped me. 3 minutes hot and 30 seconds very cold water. You can scream, ah, because it is very cold. But after when you've done it, you feel very, very relieved, and you feel actually good. So you can also do the shower, the hydrotherapy shower. And the other things that also can help you doing this is the steaming. Steaming, which, as I said, it is really a luxury for us, finding this. Normally you can, you have a cotton. Normally they have those ready cottons that is already, you can put it. So what you would do is, with her in this case, what I will normally do is she have, just imagine it is a cotton. I put them here, I put water inside here, and what I add is the eucalyptus and the tea tree oil. That's what I use for her when she gets her asthma. And then I drop the tea tree oil and eucalyptus all together here, and I put it inside, and I leave it here. And actually, what happens is when she steams, goes everything like this, and she stay like this for about 20 minutes. And when she's finished, I think I forgot I make a drop, and I think it's in my bag. When she's finished, I rub her chest and her back with my homemade, no, the other one is in my bag, my homemade tea tree oil and olive oil. So what I do with that is I have 1 tablespoon of olive oil mixed with a few drops of tea tree oil. And what I do after, I rub her chest and her chest and her back, and she go to rest. Because after that you're steaming, your body needs to recover again. And there is something that you must understand when you are doing natural remedies. You have to be consistent. It's like in the hospital when you're admitted. There's a certain times that they do, like 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Those are the times that they have in schedule. So when you're doing natural remedies, you also have to follow your schedule. And as you get better, you're breaking it down to less. But you don't just stop in one time because it will not help you. So it takes time, but your body will heal itself. So this is the steaming that I'm doing with my daughter when she gets her bronchitis asthma. Thank you very much. And there's another cough remedy that is also very easy, that is available right there in your house, and that is the onions and honey. So as you see, this onions is already cut up. So I'm just gonna show you something how. So you have about like this, and then you add some honey, layers of honey, and then when you're done with the honey, you put the onions again, and you put the honey again. And then what you do, you leave it overnight, and then in the morning, you take it about 3 tablespoons, morning, afternoon, and evening. And if you don't like because the longer the onion stays in this jar, the stronger it becomes. So if you don't like the strongness after, you can just strain them in another bottle, and then you will have a cough syrup. Just very simple. That's the other cough syrup that you can do when you are home. And the other one people normally usually also do is ginger, you all know turmeric, and cayenne pepper. Where's cayenne pepper? Oh, it's here. So what do you do with the ginger? You cut it up in pieces, and you use this to stamp it. You stamp it, and then you can use gloves because turmeric gets stains on your hands. So you can use gloves, and then you stamp them, and then you squeeze the juice. So this is that you can easily do when you are home if you don't have the blender, or you don't have the cold press juicer which drawn out the juice alone. You can also use this. And then you stamp them, and eventually you mix them in a jar, and you put a sprinkle of cayenne pepper. And that is also you can drink when you have the sore throat, or you have cold, or you have mucus, because it will help you to get rid of the mucus that whatever is in your system. So these are some of the natural remedies that you can try at home. And also with this onions and ginger, when I was sick, I think last month, what I tried out for myself, I did after that I soaked, I put thyme, fresh thyme. I put some of the leaves, and I soak it with it. And with this, actually, it helped me to soothe my throat, because it was really hurting me. I wasn't able to stop coughing. I was sick for 2 weeks, and I didn't know exactly what happening with me. I couldn't sleep. I was coughing constantly without stopping. And with this, I was able to get my sore throat. It suits me, and it helped me actually to spit out whatever mucus I had. And with that also, there's something that God impressed in my heart to share with you today. When I was sick, there's something that I was praying about, and I didn't know exactly why I was sick. And there was something that I couldn't sleep. I know that one of the health laws was rest. and I couldn't get rest. For 2 weeks, I was unable to sleep. So I couldn't get the right condition that my body needs. So I was praying, and my husband showed me something that somebody was doing with steaming in a pot, because I was constantly steaming with this. And probably it was not high enough for whatever coughing I had. So eventually I was praying that night, and I couldn't sleep at all. Not at all. My eyes was red. I was crying. I was asking the Lord, like, why? Why can't I sleep? I was pregnant, and I keep coughing and coughing and coughing, and it wasn't stopping at all. And when I went to a deep sleep, I started coughing again without stopping, constantly the whole night. So then eventually I prayed, and the Lord showed me something. So I took a pot, and it was in the night, mid in the night. I took my grater, and I grated ginger, and I boiled the water, like up to here, and I grated ginger, and I add thyme, I add oregano, and I add onions, I add garlic, I add lemon. So these things I add in the pot. All of them was in one pot, everything here, and it was after it was boiling. So after it was boiled, what I did, I added the eucalyptus and the tea tree oil. So when it was done boiling, I went to the bathroom, I covered myself, and I steamed. And after I steamed, I felt a relief in my chest. And I continuously doing this, like every 3 hours. I was steaming. When it was again to start steaming, I heat up the pot, and I just add essential oil, and I started to steaming again. And actually, after a day or two, I started to get better, and I was able to sleep. So I thank God, and I prayed, and I asked, and two sisters told me that whatever it is that you are experiencing now, maybe the Lord wants you to share with others there. So that's why I'm sharing this, that helped me when I had this congestion problem that I had. I even went to the doctor. They couldn't find out what was happening with me. I went to the house art supports on Sunday, and he didn't find out. I don't have no infection, no ear infection, no throat infection. And then a few days after, I went to my own doctor, and she couldn't find anything as well. So eventually, this steaming helped me. And after this, I just gradually decreased the steaming. So after every 3 hours, I did 6 hours, and then eventually I did 1. And actually that helped me to get better. And there is also one thing that we do. I call them eardrop, because we make it home. And it is helpful with your ears, with your nose, and with your throat. Because we know that our ears, our nose, and our throat are connected to each other. So when you have the cold, sometimes you can get ear pain, and then your nose is blocked, and you have pain here. So this is a home remedies that we do, and it is garlic and olive oil. So you soak the garlic in olive oil for 7 days in a dark glass. So every day you have to shake it, and after 7 days you can strain out the oil, and the oil that leave is the oil that you need for your ears. So when you get ear infection, when you get the cold, and you're feeling that your ear is blocked, you can drop it. I use it for my children. When they tell Mommy I have pain in my throat, I drop it. I drop it in my ear as well. And for the children is 1 drop 3 times. 1 drop 3 times a day, and for adult is 3 drops a day. And then you can drop your ears, and just be cautious because it's garlic. Some people cannot tolerate the smell. But eventually, what do you want, your health or the smell? So we'll choose for the health. So with this, it's also a very good natural remedy that you can do at home. So that's about the natural remedies that we have here. There's last thing that I want to share with you is when you have fever. Seeing that now with this coronavirus that we are, fever is also one of the symptoms. I will do a sponge bath apple cider vinegar when someone had fever, and that's also what I did when my daughters are sick. It is something that helped us. So what I do is I have a big bucket, and I add about these bottles, and it's lukewarm bottles. What I do is I take a cloth, I dip it in the water, and I put it in the lymph things, on the lymph on your in your ears, here and the other side, on here and here, and then eventually on the whole body. And what happened is because it balances your body with apple cider, because when you have fever. So this will manage and will keep your fever actually in balance. And don't be afraid when you have fever, because fever is actually your friend. Fever indicate that there is a fighting battle in your body, that there is something that is fighting. So when you get fever, there is indication that something, bacteria or virus, that is fighting in your body. So just what I want to say, so manage it, and that you are able to manage the fever and also the problem or the sickness that you have. So that is what I do with fever. That is what helped me and my children when we have fever. So these are actually the remedies that we do, and if you want the recipes of them, we can share it with you. They are available, and I hope that you are able to follow the natural remedies, because these are just simple remedies. They are right there in the kitchen, and you can try them out. There is nothing wrong with trying natural remedies. And the best things to share them is when you apply them in your home and you see that there is a result and that is changing. That is the best way to witness and to share to others. So we are almost closing. So what God says about the natural remedies? In Ellen G. White said in Letters 1897, she said, "The Lord has given some simple herbs of the field that at times are beneficial, and if every family were educated in how to use these herbs in case of sickness, much suffering might be prevented and no doctor need to be called." The human body was designed to heal itself if you give it the right condition. The use of natural remedies requires an amount of care and effort that many are not willing to give. Nature's process of healing and upbuilding is gradual, and to the impatient, it seems slow. The surrender of heartful indulgence requires sacrifice, but in the end, it will be found that nature and trembleth does her work wisely and well. Those who persevere in obedience to her laws will reap the reward in health of body and health of mind. The motive for seeking God's will is doing God's will. Psalms 40 verse 8 say, "I delight to do thy will, O my God. Yea, thy law is within my heart." The very best physical, mental, and spiritual health possible is attained only by connecting with God's power. The better to total health, the greater will be the ability to honor and glorify the Creator and Redeemer of mankind by reflecting His character to this world. It is an easy matter to lose health, but it's difficult to regain it. So may we all understand the essential of maintaining your health, your body, Not only when you are sick, but maintain it daily. So whenever you get sick, your body is able to fight any disease that you are having at that moment. And remember that it is not about the natural remedy, but what I just said, it is God's that give us the power to heal and not the natural remedy. So whenever you do, always pray and ask God for His guidance and to be able to help you to follow His guidance. And then you know that God will be able to work miracles in your life. I hope that you are blessed and that you learned a lot of natural remedies that you are able to apply in your home. Thank you, and may God bless you.
Amen.